Wondering how to improve your credit score? Well, that's a fantastic goal to have because improving your credit score can save you thousands of dollars when you go to apply for a home loan or a car loan. It can save you on interest per month that you pay. The higher score you have, the lower your interest payments will be. And in the worst case scenario, if you don't improve your credit score, you may not be able to qualify for a car loan or a home loan at all. So improving your credit score is essential. And here's a crash course on how to do that. The first thing you need to do is run a credit report. Now there are three major credit reporting bureaus in the US, and that is Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Now you can get a free report from them every 12 months. So what you want to do is review it page by page to make sure there are no errors. And you especially want to look at the adverse account section on that because that's going to show you where your late payments show up and if there's any errors or slip-ups that the credit bureaus may have had or people reporting to those credit bureaus, lenders, with if they made any errors when reporting those. So you want to really pull your credit report and get that done. Again, you can get that done every 12 months. There's websites where you can find that out. Once you know what your credit score is, you're going to be able to assess your current credit situation. So obviously, the better you've done in paying your obligations off in the past or on time in the past, the higher credit score you're going to have. You obviously want a high credit score because that is going to help improve your interest rates when you go to get a home loan or a car loan. The higher credit score you have, the lower interest rates they're going to offer you when you go to apply for those loans. So let's talk about home loans a little bit. There's generally two types of home loans that most people apply for, and that's a conventional type loan and what they call an FHA loan, the Federal Housing Administration. So the Federal Housing Administration requires a minimum score, credit score of 580. That's the minimum. Most major financial institutions have a little bit higher guidelines and they require a minimum of 620, and that's the minimum. You really want to get up higher so you can keep that interest rate lower. So, and in a perfect world, it's better off to get approved for a conventional mortgage rather than an FHA. It's a little bit stronger. You have a little bit better interest rate, less down payment. So you want to strive for a 620 or better. Now, if you're not that high, don't worry because there's some things coming up right now that are going to be able to give you some tips on how to improve those scores. One great way to improve your credit score is by really analyzing that credit report and looking for errors. The Federal Trade Commission reports that about 5% of credit reports have errors on them. There very likely is an error on your report and you can get that removed. If you get that removed, you're going to get a bump in your score. Now you're going to take a little bit of work to get it done. You're going to want to contact the bureau, let them know of the error. They're going to probably want lots of proof, several documents, whatever you have to send them as proof that you've paid off that bill or made your payments on time. So get as much proof as possible, send it to the bureau, dispute that error, and see how that goes. It might take several phone calls to get that done, but it's well worth it. Now you're probably going to have to contact the agency or the bank or the lender that reported that error and try to get them to remove it from their report as well. Again, they're probably going to need the documentations proving that you've paid it off or made your payments on time, or maybe you didn't even get a loan with them. Whatever it is, you want to contact that agency that reported the error as well. It's well worth your effort to work on this. It's going to take several emails, several phone calls, but it's going to really increase over time. It's going to give you a bump in that credit score, and it's well worth the effort that you're going to have to put in to get that removed off of your credit report. Another way to improve your credit is to ask the agencies to remove one-time mistakes. So now what I mean by that is maybe you've been making payments for 3 years on a loan and you missed one, maybe two payments that were just a little bit late. Now the reporting agent, the lenders can go back to these reporting agencies and request that they remove those from your report. That's a great way to really bump up that credit score. But this is only going to work in the case that you've only made one or two, maybe three late payments over the course of many years. If you're regularly late on those payments, they're not going to remove it, and they probably shouldn't remove it. So what you want to do is you look at your details, you look at your records, you've made all of these payments on time. You maybe were a little bit late on one payment, maybe another payment or so. Call them up, say, hey, Mr. Banker, I've made this payment for several years on time. Sorry, I missed this one payment. I was a couple days late. Can you please remove it from our report? Hopefully they'll do it. If you're a valued customer, they'll do that for you, and that'll really give you an increase in your score, and you're on the right direction. All right, so a no-brainer way to improve your credit quickly is to pay off any existing loans you might have. Now, some people that might not be an option, and that's probably why you're watching this video. So a great little trick is to increase your credit limit. So let's say you have a Lowe's card, okay? So you've got a Lowe's card for $1,500 and you owe $1,000. That's a pretty small gap of your credit limit. So you can call Lowe's up and say, hey, Mr. Lowe's, can you increase my credit limit up to $5,000? You still owe the same amount, but your credit limit is $5,000. There's a much bigger percentage in between, and it looks like you're much stronger on your debt to income ratio. The debt to income ratio is what the banks use to compare how much you can borrow. So if you're gonna do this trick, do not raise your credit limit up to, say, $5,000 or to any amount that you choose and go and borrow more. That is not gonna help you at all. So what you wanna do is keep paying down that low payment. The spread in the debt to income ratio gets better and better, and that should improve your score. Now, besides paying off your credit that you have, pay your bills on time. That is probably the biggest way to increase your credit score. You have to pay those bills on time. So there's tons of ways to make that easy for you now, especially with online banking. Set up these payments so they're just automatically paid every single month, every single week, whatever it is, at the same time. You never miss a payment, and your credit score will improve dramatically over time. So make sure you're paying all of those bills on time, and maybe a little bit early if you can. Unfortunately, negative items can stay on your report for up to 7 years. So time is a big thing for credit reports. The sooner you can make those payments on time and not miss payments, the quicker your score is gonna get. Now, there's an area called payment history on your credit report. That accounts for 35% of your score. That's a huge amount. So making your payments on time and not missing a payment can really affect your score. And again, give yourself time. It can take a few months, maybe a few years, depending on how bad your score is, to watch that increase. But as long as you're making those payments on time every single month, never missing it, and follow these other tips that we just talked about, you got to be able to put the work into it. But like I said in previous videos, if you have a big enough why, you can accomplish anything. So if you have a reason why you want to improve that score and it's strong enough, you can do it. So follow these tips and get your score up there as fast as you can.